Okay, so get this. Imagine taking a photo and then, like, actually changing where the light's coming from.
Oh, wow.
Like adding sunshine, streaming in from a window.
Right.
Or even making it look like the subject is standing, I don't know, under a street lamp. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
AI that can manipulate the lighting in images.
And what's really fascinating about this is this AI isn't just like brightening or darkening a picture. It's actually figuring out how light works in the real world and then using those rules to change the lighting in the photo.
So it's like teaching a computer to be a lighting expert.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Yeah.
We're looking at some really cool work today by developers Kijai and Hasfield.
I've seen their work,
Yeah, their projects, Comfy UI, ICLight, and ICLight on GitHub are our guides for this deep dive.
They're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and images.
So today we're going to unpack how this tech works, why it's such a big deal, and what makes it so fascinating.
Sounds good.
Get ready for some serious aha moments.
All right.
I know I'm already having them.
So let's start with the basics.
Right.
ICLight stands for Imposing Consistent Light.
Okay, that makes sense, but how does it actually work? Is it like a filter you put on a photo, or?
It's way more sophisticated than just a simple filter.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
There are two main ways that this AI can change the lighting.
Okay.
The first is with, like, text commands, like make the light look like it's coming from a sunset, or add neon lights to this scene.
Whoa. So you can literally tell it what kind of lighting you want.
Yeah.
And it just does it.
Exactly.
Right.
And the second way is by giving the AI a separate background image.
Okay.
And it analyzes the lighting in that background and then adjusts the lighting on your main subject to match.
So if I wanted a photo of myself to look like I was standing on a sunny beach, I could just feed the AI a picture of a beach.
Yep.
And it would make it happen.
That's right.
That's wild.
It is.
And there's even a demo.
Yes.
You can try yourself using a Hugging Face space.
That's right.
We'll be sure to include a link in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely go check that out.
Cool.
One thing that really blew my mind when I was reading about this was how the AI actually understands how light blends together.
You're talking about the concept of HDR space, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Apparently, in HDR space, which is how computers represent, a wider range of light and color in photos. The way that different lights mix is the same as if you had those lights physically shining together.
Exactly.
In real life.
It's a bit like mixing colored spotlights on a stage. The way those colors blend on a performer is mathematically the same as if you took separate photos of the performer under each light and then blended those photos together.
So that's how ICLight gets such realistic results.
That's right.
It's not just slapping a filter on.
Yeah.
It's understanding light.
Exactly.
Like a physicist.
Like a physicist.
That's incredible.
And it can even create those things called normal maps, right?
Yeah, normal maps are like blueprints for the surface details of a 3D object. And ICLight can generate them.
Yep.
Even though it wasn't specifically trained to do that.
It's pretty amazing.
Now, before we get too far, I got to point out that there are actually two versions of ICLight we're talking about here.
That's right.
Which shows how quickly this tech is evolving.
It's moving fast.
Yeah.
The first version was built on an AI system called Stable Diffusion 1.5.
Okay.
But it struggled a bit with highly detailed images and more artistic styles.
Gotcha.
Think of it like an older camera phone.
Okay.
Good, but not amazing.
Right. Okay, so what's different about the second version?
Yeah.
Did they just give it a software update or something?
Think of it more like upgrading to a professional grade camera.
Oh.
They switched to a fancier AI engine called Flux that handles details much better. And it even does a better job with stylized images, like drawings.
Oh, cool.
Preserving the artistic style while adjusting the lighting.
That's a huge improvement.
It is.
So where do we go from here?
Well, the first version of ICLight is already part of a workflow tool called Comfy UI, which is used by people who generate images with AI.
So if you're tech savvy, you can actually start playing around with this stuff right now.
Exactly.
That's so cool.
The second version, though, is still mostly accessible through that Hugging Face demo we mentioned earlier.
Right.
But developers are working on integrating it into tools like Comfy UI. So it won't be long before it's easier to use.
That's great news, but I'm curious.
Yeah.
What can you actually do with this technology?
Right.
What are the real-world applications?
Well, the possibilities are huge. Imagine, like, photographers being able to tweak the lighting in their photos after a shoot without having to reshoot everything.
That would be incredible.
Or graphic designers being able to create stunning visuals with perfect lighting.
It could be a total game changer.
Absolutely.
So many industries.
We're really just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI-powered image editing.
This is all so fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
But I have a feeling we're just getting started.
I think so.
We've got a lot more to explore, so let's pick up where we left off in part 2.
Sounds good.
Welcome back.
We're back.
We're in the middle of this incredible deep dive into AI that can manipulate lighting in images.
And we've only just begun to explore the possibilities.
Right. So far, we've talked about how this AI, called ICLight, actually understands the physics of light.
It's really amazing.
It can change the lighting in a photo based on text commands or even a separate background image.
That's right.
And it can even generate those intricate normal maps, which are like blueprints for 3D objects.
Exactly.
It's mind-blowing stuff.
It really is.
Now, I was poking around in the Comfy UI ICLight repository, and I found a really interesting example of how this tech can be used.
Okay.
It involves a specific model called ICLight's D15 FBC.SafeTensors. And it uses both a foreground and a background image.
Oh, wow.
To relight a picture.
Ah, yes, that's a great example to showcase how AI can combine information from multiple sources to achieve a more sophisticated result.
So let's break it down for our listeners. How does this workflow actually work?
Wow.
Imagine you have a photo of your friend standing in front of a plain white wall.
Right.
That's your foreground image.
Okay.
Now, let's say you want to make it look like your friend is actually standing in a lush forest with dappled sunlight filtering through the trees.
I'm following.
Okay, so what do we do?
Yeah.
Just tell the AI, make it look like a forest.
Not quite.
Okay.
You would also need a background image of that forest scene.
Gotcha.
The ICLight model takes both the foreground image of your friend and the background image of the forest as input.
So it's kind of like the AI is saying, okay, if this person were standing in this forest, how would the light be hitting them?
That's right.
That's crazy.
It analyzes the lighting in the background image, where the sunlight is coming from, how bright it is, the colors of the light, all of those details. And then it uses that information to adjust the lighting on your friend in the foreground image so that it looks like they're actually standing in that forest.
And that's how you get those incredibly realistic results.
Precisely.
But it's important to note that these models are still under development.
That's right.
They're not perfect.
Yeah, there are challenges that developers are working to overcome.
What kinds of things are they still figuring out?
Well, one challenge is handling, really fine details, like the texture of clothing or individual strands of hair.
Right.
Those details can sometimes get lost or distorted when the image is manipulated.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're changing the way light interacts with the subject, it could affect how those tiny details look.
Exactly. It's like if you zoom in really close on a photo, you start to see individual pixels.
Yeah.
The AI needs to be able to handle those tiny details accurately to create a truly convincing relighting effect.
So how are developers tackling this challenge? Is it like a software bug they need to fix, or?
It's more about improving the AI's capabilities.
Okay.
One approach is to use even higher resolution models.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about the second version of ICLight using a fancier AI engine called Flux?
Yeah, the one that's like upgrading to a professional grade camera.
Exactly. Yeah. With more pixels, the AI can capture and preserve those fine details much more effectively.
Right.
It's like having a sharper lens that can focus on the tiniest elements.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a lot of exciting research and development still happening in this field.
Absolutely.
This technology is constantly evolving, and we're only just beginning to see its full potential.
I think so, too.
Speaking of potential.
Yeah.
I think it's time to zoom out a bit and think about
a bigger picture.
You mean the impact of this technology on the creative industries?
Exactly.
Oh, that's an important one.
How do you see ICLight and similar AI-powered tools changing the way we create and consume visual content?
Well, I think we're going to see a fundamental shift in how we approach image editing.
Okay.
Traditionally, it's been a very specialized skill requiring expensive software and a lot of technical know-how.
So you're saying that AI is making these tools and techniques more accessible
Exactly.
to everyone.
Imagine a world where anyone with a smartphone can adjust the lighting in their photos or videos just as easily as they apply a filter today.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, what does that mean for professional photographers, graphic designers, and video editors?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
While AI can empower creators by giving them new tools and streamlining their workflows,
it also has the potential to disrupt existing job markets.
It's like any technological advancement.
Exactly.
There are always two sides to the coin.
And it's important to have these conversations about the potential impacts, both positive and negative.
Right.
We need to figure out how to harness the power of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
Well said.
Thank you.
So where do we go from here?
Well,
what's next for ICLight and AI image editing as a whole?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll tackle in our final segment.
Okay.
We'll explore some of the exciting trends on the horizon and speculate on what the future holds for this incredible technology.
Sounds good to me. Let's dive into the future.
Let's do it.
All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into AI-powered relighting.
It's been quite a journey.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
From, the technical details of how it works to the potential impact on the creative industries.
And now it's time to put on our futurist hats and speculate on where this technology is headed.
Exactly. So what's next for ICLight? What kind of crazy advancements can we expect to see in the coming years?
Well, one trend that I think is really exciting is the development of even more specialized AI models.
Specialized?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So right now, ICLight is kind of like a Swiss Army knife of relighting.
Gotcha.
It can handle a wide variety of images and lighting scenarios. But in the future, we might see models that are specifically designed for particular tasks.
So a model that's super good at relighting portraits.
Exactly.
Or one that's specifically for creating those dramatic nighttime scenes.
Exactly. These specialized models could potentially produce even more realistic and nuanced results because they're focused on a narrower set of parameters.
That makes sense. It's like having a team of lighting experts, each with their own expertise.
And another trend that I think is particularly fascinating is the development of real-time relighting.
Real-time? You mean being able to adjust the lighting in a video as it's playing?
Exactly. Imagine being able to change the time of day in a video on the fly or add realistic lighting effects to a live stream.
Whoa, that would be incredible. Yeah. Is that even possible with current technology?
It's definitely on the horizon.
Okay.
There are already AI models that can process video in real time.
Right.
And as those models get more powerful and efficient, I think real-time relighting will become a reality.
That would open up so many possibilities.
It would.
For filmmakers, video game developers, and even social media creators.
Absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of social media, I think we're also going to see AI-powered relighting become more and more integrated into those platforms.
So you're saying that in the future, we might be able to adjust the lighting in, our selfies and videos, with just a few taps on our phones.
It could become as commonplace as applying a filter.
Wow.
It would give everyone the power to enhance their photos and videos, create different moods, and tell more compelling visual stories.
It sounds like we're on the verge of,
I think so.
A whole new era of visual communication.
And as with any powerful technology, it's important that we think carefully about the implications. But at the end of the day, I'm incredibly excited about the potential of AI to empower creators and expand the boundaries of what's possible.
I'm with you on that.
Good.
It's been a mind-blowing journey.
It has.
Exploring the world of AI-powered relighting with you today.
The pleasure was all mine.
And a huge thanks to our listeners for joining us on this deep dive.
Thank you for listening.
Be sure to check out the show notes for links to the resources we discussed today.
Yes.
Including that Hugging Face demo.
Right.
So you can try out ICLight for yourself.
It's really cool.
And if you have any thoughts or questions, we'd love to hear from you. You can find us on social media.
That's right.
Until next time, keep those minds curious and those imaginations ignited.
And keep exploring the incredible world of AI.